Hello, everybody. And this is my 40-gallon Blue Dream tank. And we did this, we redid this not that long ago. And the same thing is happening again when we have all this light. Like I said in some of my other videos before, I've been experimenting with getting more and more and more light on these tanks. And the more we do that, the more things change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. So now I've had to come up with ways to help tame the moss like we did in the previous video. This tank was a great big giant moss wad mess, green jade tank. And we got that all situated. We got a little bit of algae in there, but that Ludwigia got real happy real fast. Got all this, so we're going to try to bring some kind of, we still want as many plants in here as possible because that's super good for the shrimp. Lots of new plant growth. And we want to still keep all these plants happy, but we're going to try to bring some kind of organization to it. And then when we got this crazy light, when it reaches for the light, when it gets taller, I always end up getting algae. When the moss starts growing too close to the light, that usually means algae in my tanks. But I feed too much, so that's probably why. Anyway, this tank is always cloudy because there's a whole bunch of plecos in here, and that's just the way it is. I did a lot of culling in here the last time I did this, and I'm gonna need to do some more. So first thing I'm gonna do is start separating the algae from the moss. I think most of all this is pretty healthy moss. There might be a little bit of algae besides this great big clump, but that's the first thing we're gonna do. Okay, so the first thing I did is I got two buckets here. One is for trash, and one is for good clean moss. The moss that is entangled with algae goes in the trash bucket. Look at all these little shrimpies here. Holy smokes. And then I have tank water in both buckets. So then when we're done, we can make sure we don't accidentally get baby shrimp. And let me tell you, we almost always do. Yeah, this tank is getting some duckweed in the back. That sucks. I hate duckweed. God dang. There's definitely some of it in here. So you can see here, I am this great big chunk of algae that wants to start growing. Alright, then we're going to go through it. I did a pretty good job of making sure there's no shrimp on it. I don't see any. And that'll go in the trash, but just in case it's in tank water. In case there was some baby shrimp on there, we'll come back and check for those later. Okay, little shrimpy buddies. I have been finding out that when I do this crazy light stuff, everything is usually fine. This tank had been relatively algae free until the moss started growing up towards the light again. And it wants to get float. It seems like when it can get float happy, when it's not anchored down to something, in these light conditions anyway. Now, if you just want to go to having, if I went back to having lower light, I probably wouldn't have to worry about any of this mess. But I found lots of light, lots of plant growth is lots of good for the shrimp. And it allows me to make lots and lots of shrimp and not that much tank space considering how many shrimp I make. So I get the maximum production out of my tanks. I've been upping and upping and upping the light. I've actually been feeding my tanks a little less and relying more and more on the light. And you may notice, some of you guys have been around a long time know my tanks all used to be just piles of snails and some tanks still are. But those are the old tanks I haven't reset. The ones that have been reset have way less snails. These are the plecos that I don't want to spawn, and they just keep spawning. They've been in here for years and years. They've been in here before the shrimp were ever in here. This was a guppy tank many years ago. Yeah, I guess not that many years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, probably. And these same plecos have been in here making pleco babies well before there's ever shrimp in here. So I like letting they're full grown big monsters. It's easier just to let them do their thing. I've got this 40 gallon. This is where I got serious with the Blue Dreams. The Blue Dreams started in one of these 20 gallons over here. Is where I started them at. And then it took a long time for them to get going. These Blue Dreams are one of the hardest lines I had to get going, believe it or not. And here's a little secret. These Blue Dreams are the only time I had to get shrimp twice. The first 10 did not do good. I got 3 females and 7 males out of 10 shrimp. And the first 2 females died like within the first couple days, and then the third female lived for like 2 months and died buried. Almost. Then I got some more, and there's a lot of algae in this crap. More algae in there than I even thought. That sucks. All this algae. God, look at them shrimp. That's freaking nuts. Look at that. Oh, lordy. Look at these. Look at those shrimp. I hope that's showing up on the video. Look at all of them. Holy smokes. Watch out, little shrimps. You gotta get off the moss, little shrimps. I'm gonna put most of it back in, little shrimps. I promise. Alright. So now we got more freaking algae in there. Dang. There's a lot more algae in here than I was thinking. So this is what we've got here. Lots of really good shrimps. Lots of really good shrimps. And they're going all the way back there to the back where we can't even see right now. So I think what I am going to do now is I'm going to do a giant water change on this tank. Because I like to do that sometimes because my tanks are all open top. They evaporate like crazy. And there's some duckweed bits and rotala leaves and bits like that. So I'll get that. Then we're going to do a giant water change. And why? To actually do not recommend most people do this to their shrimp. I've been doing this to my shrimp for years, and the way my water is, and as stable as my water is, I am able to get away with doing these kind of water changes with my tap water, with my shrimp, and my water. Now, most people, I don't suggest doing this, but take a look at this. I like showing this view. Here's a full 40-gallon tank. Look at all of them. This tank is well established. I'm glad I did this because last time I did this a few months ago, I didn't think there was that many in here. Well, I knew there's a lot in here, but not this many in here. Holy smokes. Look at that. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave the Rotella on this side. And then from over here to there, we'll do some moss sections. But first, we're going to get this filled up. I'm going to fill it up real nice and slow. Well, here we are before we go around messing up, putting rocks in the pluckos, mess everything up. Just take a gander. Look at that. That heater split open. It's a good thing it's unplugged. Those are the crappiest heaters known to man, them Aqueon Pros. Take a look at the Blue Dreams. I thought there was getting to be a lot of shrimp in here again, but I didn't know that much. Wowie. Okay. So the next step is to start getting rocks gathered. I went and bought a bag of river rocks today at the store for this project. And so in the middle of doing this, I messed the water all up again. But the shrimp are super happy. And now we have all this open space. Plenty of room for the Rotella to do its thing over here. And we've got rock border and rocks holding in the moss. This allows the moss to hold itself onto the rocks and to create borders. So in the tanks where I'm not continually always resetting, the plan is for these tanks now I will come in with scissors and trim it. Ideally. So that's the plan, and now I can manage my Blue Dreams. They're looking really good. Really good. Alright. So and it's cloudy again, but I think it looks pretty cool. Hopefully this does a lot better than it has been. Well, this tank's always been doing really good, but hopefully it looks better and is easier for me to manage now. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.